terms of
We'll put one for it. Candy's coming.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, she is. And Josh said you might be able to back up, obviously.
Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Our chairman, Candy Preston, is unable to be here tonight, so I'm going to kind of try and sub in. I did hear from Josh Drake. He said that he may be a few minutes late, but we do have enough to proceed with a quorum. So we will go ahead, and I would ask the board, we have a guest tonight, Mr. Dusty Allison with Blue Ridge Outdoor Magazine. If we could have a motion to add him to the agenda, please.
Make a motion to add him to the agenda.
Aye.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. We could have a motion of approval of the August 10th, 2015 board minutes.
I'll move. I'll second.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And we'll skip the financial report and we'll go ahead and look at, since we have Mr. Allison here, we'll go ahead and add him under new business. Mr. Allison, would you like to present to the TDA board?
Yes. Is there somewhere I should stand or sit?
You're more than welcome to come sit up here with us.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for having me on short notice. I appreciate you guys squeezing me in. And as Summer mentioned, I'm with Blue Ridge Outdoors Magazine. We're based in Asheville, North Carolina, and Charlottesville, Virginia. And we are a free outdoor lifestyle and travel magazine who've been around for 20 years. And we are free and monthly. And annually, for about the last 4 years, we have done a top outdoor towns competition. And so, as many of you may know, Franklin was entered into that this year by our editorial team, first year ever, which was great. And we've been running that contest for 6 weeks online. And we've had a small towns category, medium-sized town category, and large city category. So, of course, Franklin was in the small town category and did very, very well. Confidentially in this room, Franklin has won the contest for small town. We're not really releasing that publicly
Well, you
until.
might want to tell the reporters.
Yeah, I would ask that you hold that. Thank you. Yeah. I was wondering if he was press. You know, we do ask that, and I think, you know, if any of you were following the contest, we darkened the results on Friday. It ended today at 9:00 a.m. You guys were up against Abingdon, Virginia, in the final round, and we're pretty far ahead of them through most of the contest. And even as of Friday, I would have been shocked had they made a comeback over a weekend span. So it's something to be very proud of. But the reason that we try to hold off on it is because partly why I'm here. We are a monthly magazine. Our November issue of Blue Ridge Outdoors is always our big Top Towns issue. People always look forward to it to see and read about the destinations that made it. Sometimes they're candidates that you've heard about. You know, Chattanooga, Tennessee won it a few years ago for, you know, the big city category, and we've done it in different formats every year. This year we kind of went back to a size categorization model where we had a small, medium, and large, and we'll be showcasing all three winners in our November issue editorially. So it's a great thing. Last year we only had one winner, and it was actually Bryson City. So they won the entire thing. Like I said, the model was a little bit different, and you know, obviously, as a Western North Carolina native, I grew up in Andrews, so you know, I always appreciate seeing us rise to the top. So that's off the record too, privately, public. But anyway, don't print that.
You don't say it first.
I know, right? So anyway, so what I'm here about is I'm the digital publisher of our magazine. I also work in advertising, and my specialty over the years in working in Blue Ridge Outdoors is to try, because I am from a small town in Western North Carolina, who is in the midst of, you know, beautiful outdoor assets and natural beauty, is to try to leverage attention that comes like this. So I work a lot in capacity with the magazine with TDAs and chambers and CVBs all across the Southeast. And I don't think I mentioned this, but our magazine's reach is, the full reach is DC to Alabama. So we cover the entire Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. And when we say Blue Ridge Outdoors, we're obviously talking about the Blue Ridge Mountain Range, but we use that as sort of the spine and the backbone of our reach and our editorial coverage. But you know, our magazine goes to Charlotte, it goes to Atlanta, it goes to Knoxville, Richmond, Virginia, Lexington, Kentucky. It goes to cities sort of outlying areas from the range itself. And you know, because we're a destination-focused magazine, a lot of our clients and advertisers who work with us are TDAs who have an outdoor product, so to speak, that brings in travelers and tourists, because our demographic, that's what they get locked in on. When, you know, the town thing is of special interest to them because the folks who read our magazine, not only are they looking for weekend travel, not only are they looking to, you know, come stay in hotels and shop downtown and eat in restaurants, but they're also, you know, a lot of them are looking at real estate. They're looking at second homes, they're looking at relocation at some point in life. So the top towns issue is always of interest to them, just to kind of see what's new on the scene. That's why I'm excited that Franklin is up there this year, because it's a true Cinderella story. I think this was the first year you guys were even in the contest, and
never had an opportunity.
And I've worked with some of these guys before, and you know, and with their own separate advertising, and I've heard a little bit of grief about that, even though I don't make the choices, you know. But I've also, over the years, shaken the editors, you know, cages to say, you know, we're overlooking Franklin. Franklin is a great town, and there's a lot happening there. So fortunately, this year they added you guys, and you rose to the top. I mean, you really rallied in a big way, and it was fun to watch. You know, just on social media and to see, you know, the attention that it was getting. So we had over 106,000 votes in total for the contest. So it says a lot that Franklin did very well. So the reason that I'm here is because in the past, when other towns have won, one option that I give them to really leverage it and to take advantage of the exposure is an advertising co-op. And the TDA usually, what I do is I work with the TDA and have them help subsidize the buy. And what that allows is local businesses, hotels, restaurants to be able to come on board if they want at a much cheaper rate than they would be able to get by themselves. So I basically drawn up, I made a few copies here. Not to sort of beat around the bush, but demographics are here for who our magazine is, and what I'm proposing to Franklin is the subsidy of ideally a 2-page spread that would go in the issue with the article. It would be what we would do is, with Franklin, the TDA subsidizing it, we would create what we call a page treatment, which would anchor all of the ads on the 2-page spread together. So it would use Franklin's branding as sort of a banner across the top, and then it would allow for quarter-page ads and half-page ads to go in the spread. And for instance, Bryson City did this last year, and they initially capped it at a 2-page spread. They said, we'll subsidize 2 pages. And then what they did was they capped it at that initially, and said it was first come, first serve, and that's usually how we do it. It sold so fast to area businesses and partners that they ended up deciding on, they went back and decided to subsidize a 3rd page. Hot Springs, North Carolina won it a few years ago. Hot Springs, North Carolina won it a few years ago, and they did the same. I think they ended up buying 5 pages to support businesses. You know, we're talking about a town of 900 people. So my suggestion is, if the TDA bought in, that, and I can show you our media kit too. What I've done is I've created this because I work with a lot of TDAs and CVBs. My territory that I work in and specialize in are the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. Most of the folks who are trying to attract travelers in this area of the Southeast are looking at those states primarily. Although our magazine reaches up into Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, most all TDAs and CVBs, both small and large, having done their research and kind of knowing where their travelers are coming from, know that it's within sort of our immediate, 5-state area. So I went ahead and said, this is a co-op that would run in what we call the southern half of we zone our magazine to where some ads aren't, shown in all copies. This would be half of our circulation, so it'd be 50,000 copies in North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. And on the sheet here, I've listed out some of the major markets where we have more dense circulation, such as Greenville, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Knoxville. And with the subsidy, what I've created this on is that the TDA would contribute $1,000 per page, so essentially a total of $2,000 if it was a 2-page spread. And what this would do is it would allow the businesses to come in at discounts of over 50% off the rate card. So, for instance, as you see here, we'd have quarter-page and half-page options. A quarter-page ad for that sort of reach for one issue is typically right at $1,400, and for a business it would be $570.
Oh, wow, okay, all right.
And then a half-page also would be, typically the value is $2,300, and the discounted cost would be just over $1,100. And so what I do is if the TDA comes on and supports this and says, yes, we'll contribute this, we'll help buy down the page, I go in right behind and I do the selling.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, some TDAs and CVBs, we do it differently all the time. Some will say, we'll buy the full 2 pages and we'll sell it ourselves. But typically what I like to do is just do the work for you. And you say, we approve this, go for it, we'll buy up to 2 pages, and then tomorrow morning, I hit the road and start calling people and getting this out.
And we're out of it, that kind of puts.
Yeah, you're out of it, yeah. And basically it comes down to, we work individually with the businesses on their ads. So with all of the, for both you guys as well as the individual participating partners, we don't invoice anything until the issue comes out. So you wouldn't get an invoice until November. We do net 30 terms, and then we also do free ad design. So we have an in-house art department, so both for your logo and branding, we could work all that in, and then we would work individually with the businesses. I know some businesses, like Outdoor 76, we've worked with in the past, they do great ads on their own, so they may opt to design their own ad. We just give them the specs and they do it. But a lot of businesses, we do ad design work, and that's free. That's a free service, so we don't charge them extra to build their ad. And what I do is I also try, knowing our demographic of who our magazine is and who we're reaching, is I try to customize the co-op as best I can. These usually sell out really fast because of the cheap rates and because there's excitement behind this kind of issue and wanting to be a part of it. So I try to offer some degree of exclusivity. For instance, I worked with Bryson City on their co-op last year, and I only sold one cabin company into it, even though there were there's 800 over there. Primarily because I want to try to honor that for the business's sake, to where if they're participating and being a partner of it, basically I present it, or I approach it with the angle of, if a traveler is seeing this, they're coming to Franklin, I want to kind of give them one of each of everything that they're looking for, or one or two, lodging up, whether it be lodging options, shopping options, restaurants, that kind of thing, to give a sort of a full spectrum view. I don't think it would benefit Franklin to have 2 pages of hotel ads. I don't think it would benefit them to have 2 pages of retail ads. I think it's better if you can kind of give, think of it as a snapshot of Franklin. So that in a nutshell is my pitch. And again, where I see the TDA coming into this and why I'm here to approach this is because I see this very much as a huge opportunity to bring travelers to Franklin, not only to enjoy the outdoors, but also obviously to show all of the the exciting developments and things that are coming to town and to downtown, and just to show the charm of it. I mean, you guys are clearly, you win the outdoor card. I mean, you're such a hub of having everything from Wayabald and Alberta Albert Mountain and all of that stuff in that direction. You know, you guys bump up against, you know, Palisades and Highlands and that area. I mean, you are a perfect hub for our kind of traveler, for our kind of reader. And, you know, honestly, in the past, we've written about Franklin in varying degrees, and it's usually in mention of talking about the Bartram Trail or talking about, you know, something local. But I think this is a great opportunity where we're excited to shine the light on Franklin and show, you know, the town itself. And that's why I think the idea of an advertising co-op, I think sometimes people think of Franklin, they don't realize some of the businesses that are here, they don't even know that, you know, and so that's what I'm hoping that we can make this into.
Do you have an example of what one looks like? I was hoping
Yeah, absolutely. So again, our magazine, I'll just pass some copies out here, just kind of let you get a taste of what it looks like. We do lots of co-ops, everything from the state level to a local co-op like this. I can give you an idea, actually, almost exactly with Bryson Cities last year, because I did bring that issue. The difference here, though, is that the format is now different for our magazine. So this is our 20th anniversary, but we've been around for 20 years. And in March of this year, we changed over to full glossy magazine. We used to be newsprint interior. So just disregard the fact that this is newsprint, but this will give you kind of an idea. Well, and that's the thing that's exciting, is that the pop's going to be a lot more, so people can see this is kind of what Bryson City did. So they've used their logo and their branding to anchor it down here at the bottom. And then you have everyone from Manahela Brewing Company to the railroad to Cork and Bean, Wild Water Rafting, Bryson City Cabin Rentals. And this fell right at the start of the story. And that's the other thing that I would work on, is to get it placed either within the actual feature or like adjacent to it. So it's not necessarily one's at the front of the book and the others, you know, somewhere in the middle. So yeah, like I said, initially they ended up saying 2 pages, and I think in like 3 days it was sold out. People were committed to it, so they decided. I think they were excited by the enthusiasm people had for it, so they ended up opting to increase it to a 3rd page. And we stopped there because we were also running out of time. You know, I think maybe they would have kept buying more. That's what happened to Hot Springs too. The year they did it, Hot Springs started at 2 pages, and then it just kept going, and they excitedly kept throwing more money to it and supporting it, and they ended up with like 5 or 6 pages, which was a really strong showing for Hot Springs, and maybe a little overkill. I don't know if I would do that again, but it was good.
Okay, so let me see if I follow correctly.
Okay.
So basically, the TDA would give around $2,000 for a 2-page.
Mhm.
And then the TDA could put their logo, kind of what Bryson City
Mhm.
did, and you might could work with Premier Marketing or someone. And then you would, in a sense, go out and sell to local businesses or organizations, and then they could buy into that co-op.
Right. This sheet that I gave you is actually designed more in mind of the business partner. So, you know, this wasn't meant to really read for you guys, but what they would look at. This is almost identical to what I would send them. And I would basically say, you know, Franklin TDA has given their blessing to this, they're supporting this effort, and in so doing, that's allowing you as a business or you as a partner some extraordinary rates that you normally would not be able to get on your own. You know, the TDA, you know, doesn't support this window of time. And I apologize for that. I know, because I know that you normally take you know, you do it at your next meeting. So there is that hurdle, but you know, if you can't support it or don't support it, I'm still going to go around to Franklin businesses to try to customize and create something for them. They just won't have anywhere near that kind of deal, you know, for opportunity.
So what would be the total cost that you would ask from the TDA tonight for a 2-page?
$2,000.
And the article would be a full-page article?
Yeah, so the article is going to be, and this is still, I need to talk more to my editorial staff, but what the feature will consist of is, the entire feature will probably be 6 to 8 pages. But within those 6 to 8 pages, all 3 towns, the small, the medium, and the large, will be written about and covered. So in that sense, as the small town, top runner, Franklin will be showcased and profiled. Editorially, it sounds like what they're going to also do is write it almost in like a weekender's guide too. So, like if you were traveling to Franklin, these are our, picks as to, where to go, where to hike, where to see waterfalls. It'll probably lean more towards all of the outdoor pursuits of the area. And, there'll be maybe some mention of businesses or a place to stay or that kind of thing. But normally we try to focus more on what initially gets them here, which is the proximity to trails and waterfalls and peaks and all that. And then that's why something like what Bryson City did last year and what hopefully Franklin will do is that we come in and sort of put the underpinnings on that and say, this is what brings them here. Now while you're here, here's almost like a resource guide as to where to eat, where to shop, where to stay. That kind of thing.
Any questions from the board?
Very well.
I think this is certainly within the board's privy if you guys, I know we normally have a procedure to where you wait the 2 months, but given the award that it appears that
Right.
Franklin will be winning, I certainly think it's notable that you could override that in a case like this.
And do we have to vote on that, overriding it, or just take a vote on this?
And I would make one recommendation from your budget, if the board does want to go with this, I would take it from your miscellaneous festival line item that you have 30,000 in.
Okay.
Now, you said that, the only question that I do have is, we're saying 2 pages, but what if there is a 3rd page? Do we, in our thing, when we make a motion, can we say 2, but if 3 is where it needs to be, that we approve the 3, but just kind of go with the 2 at first?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. We normally,
Because we would have to vote on the 3rd, and there wouldn't be
Yes, you
time
would,
to do
yeah.
that.
right.
What would be the cost for 3?
I'm basically giving it to the TDA for 1,000 per page, so it would be $3,000.
So what the board might want to consider, just to throw this out there, if you wanted to consider a 3rd page, you could put in within your motion be spent up to $3,000.
That's what I was, that's what.
Yeah, because Bryson City last year, when they did this, it was a similar, I don't know that they have the same procedures as you guys as far as decision making goes, but they, we started at 2, and like I said, within a few days, because all it takes are a couple businesses saying they want a half page, and that's 1 page gone. And so, they ended up adding on that 3rd page. And then I also sort of a conversation, because I sort of do a blitz of this to all the people that I know and the partners and my research and that kind of thing. And I give like last year I gave their chamber kind of my gut feeling as to if a 3rd page could be sustained. Because like I said, the 2 pages sold out, but then sometimes you do get to that, like they add on a 3rd page, and then suddenly you hit a sluggish, where only half of it sold. If that's the case, if we ran into something like that, if you guys approved a 3rd page, and let's say 2 more businesses came on with quarter pages, and half of it got sold and the other half didn't, we would just make, because you bought it, we would make a bigger ad for the TDA.
I make a motion that would go up to 3,000
And where do you want to take it from?
from the miscellaneous festivals.
I'll second it.
Good. And may I add one thing, just for consideration?
Mhm.
For them to work for the TDA's ad purposes, maybe with Premier, that way we
Yes.
keep, is that
Keep
fair?
the same.
Keep
Yeah.
to keep the same.
I would kind of like to, and I know you're gonna sell ads and try and get a variety, but probably in keeping with your theme,
Right.
Blue Ridge Outdoors, I know you're gonna maybe sort of pick and choose if you've got so much or whatever,
Right.
but I think just maybe staying with the theme.
Right. I
Franklin,
agree.
the top small town, and there's all the outdoor.
I agree. I mean, my sole objective in all of this, really, I don't have a dog in the fight other than I really want to make it work for Franklin. And knowing, like I said, knowing our magazine, knowing our demographic, you're right. I mean, you know, there are certain businesses and certain clients that I would approach first, who I think hopefully would do it, and they would see the value in doing it. And from there, then we would, you know, go deeper down the list if
Okay.
need be.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Dusty, thank you very
Yes,
much.
thank you very
I
much.
will email you in the morning
Okay.
with my contact information and then from your marketing.
Okay.
If we can do anything for you, let us know.
All right,
Is
great.
your-
Yeah, thanks so much for
Is
your
your
time.
deadline September 28th?
It is, that's to commit, that's to book the ads, yeah, so we have 2 weeks,
Pardon me.
yeah.
So
Which
now,
is why I
once
wanna
it's
move fast.
official, because it's really not quite official, then would our media people be able to let that news out once it's official?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes, yeah, and what we will have prepared is a press release that we'll
Okay.
send all the local
Great.
media, yeah. We
Great.
basically, you know, we're, it's hard to sit on that kind of news, I know, especially in the world of social media and Facebook and
Right.
tweets and everything else, but, you know, we want people
It's
to,
already on Facebook.
you know, the reason that we, you know, some of it's selfish for us because we want more magazines to go off the stand, but a big part of it is we want people to read the content about Franklin. We want them to
Right.
read the story. And so we kind of hold people in anticipation before that issue comes out, and it just drives more eyes to the article. If people know that Franklin won, or if they know that Knoxville won, or if they know whoever won, you know, then they may be less inclined to pick it up and read it just because there's less mystery about it. And I think, you know, Outside Magazine is a similar magazine to ours, more of a
Mhm.
national and international scope. They do a similar contest every year, and they do it sort of the same. They don't officially announce anything until the issue actually hits the stand, so. I mean, people can read between the lines and make assumptions, and like I said, you could have looked at the polls on Friday and sort of guessed that's what was gonna happen, but.
I'm going out of town on Thursday and I'm gone for a week.
Okay.
Call me
Oh,
tomorrow,
Okay,
please.
great, yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
And you have my email address, correct?
If-
Okay.
I found you right here, I made a note.
Oh, good, yeah, oh,
Email you in the
yeah,
morning.
I included it.
Perfect.
Do y'all want some of these left behind, or do you?
Sure, I can put a couple out up front in town hall, if that's
Oh,
okay,
sure,
and I like
here's-
to keep
yeah,
one.
this is to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, have a safe trip back home.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And Matt, I want to, and I think the board does as well, thank you. I know you've worked really hard on
Yes.
promoting Franklin.
We all
Rob,
did. Yeah, it
Corey,
took a
you
whole
as well.
community. Yeah.
Thank you guys for your hard work on that.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
that.
Took some buy-in, and we had it.
Okay.
I will say, objectively, there's some big cheerleaders in this room. for this
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
for sure.
Certainly more than me, but
A
thank you.
lot of sweat and blood and love for it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Great. Okay. We'll continue with new business if that's okay. Rob, would you like to go? We've got Macon County Transit and ATC committee request, and that's the one I just passed out to you.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Before I get started, as someone who, obviously, this is our industry, I can't tell you how proud I am of you guys for doing that. Like, we saw the rewards of Bryson City Group last year, and this is a big deal for our town.
That's good.
This is really good.
That magazine doesn't stay in our shop for more than
Yeah.
2 weeks.
It's a big deal. It's a really big
Good.
deal. For that being our town's brand,
It's a testament.
this is like, you can't, no pun intended, you can't buy this kind of advertising, so. Okay, all right, so, if I can ask you guys to ignore the fact that I am literally wearing an Outdoor 76 hat tonight. I'm here tonight on behalf of Macon County Transit and FATCC, Franklin Appalachian Trail, I guess we're a commission. That is, we are a town board, and I happen to be president of that board. So I'm here tonight as a member of that board on behalf of Macon County Transit The reason I'm here, you guys, just to give you a real quick backstory, this year, Macon County Transit launched an initiative to use public transportation to bring hikers into the town. Before I go much further, I want you guys to know this is a very unorthodox request. This is not an event. This is not, there's so many things here that are outside of the norm. So I am coming to you guys vulnerable, open for opinion, suggestion, how we can come up with an amicable solution to this. But for all of us as business owners, as people that serve on town boards that promote our town, and for you guys, your responsibility for appropriating tax dollars that come in from people coming in and staying here. This is all of our responsibility to find a solution to make this a legitimate service for our community, to continue our growth and presence with the Appalachian Trail community. So last year, this year, 2015, Macon County Transit launched an initiative to bring ET hikers into town. They ran 2 routes a day for 6 weeks, so 30 days, Monday through Friday. They left Franklin. I don't know if I put times on here specifically. They left at 9 in the morning. Got hikers up roughly 9:30 to Winding Stair Gap. Waited till 10. Brought them down into town, and they were here for the day. And then they went back up again in the afternoon to do the exact same thing, to pick up afternoon hikers, take hikers back. They charged hikers a fare of $3 per boarding, which is a very, very fair, exceptionally fair rate. There are individuals that are, of course, permitted, assuming when they're all permitted, to get hikers to and from the trail to town, and they're much more expensive than that. This year, I apologize, I can't throw hard numbers at you guys, and I know you guys probably know there was an increase in revenue for the 2 months this year from previous Marches and Aprils that came in from occupancy taxes. And as someone who owns a business kind of on the front lines of this, I can't help but think that the infusion of Macon County Transit's, their efforts to bring hikers into town was a huge part of that. The number of hikers, and we know this firsthand, the number of hikers that come into town, get the morning shuttle, their plan is to go to the grocery store, grab a bite to eat, do laundry, maybe get a can of fuel at the outfitter, and then hop on the afternoon bus and head off. Get into town and they go, yeah, maybe I want to stay. Or bad weather's coming in or whatever. They decide to stay the night. Buy dinner somewhere, maybe spend a couple extra more dollars than they thought they'd spend. Getting hikers to town in a legitimate fashion has tremendous value. So this year, 2015, Kim gave me numbers. Kim Angel, she's director of Macon County Transit. They collected $1,608 in fares. Their services cost Macon County Transit $3,518. Left them $1,910 in the red. I can't get into the accountability that went in, the accountability that she encountered after that. Okay, you operated a service that lost $1,900. We look at this and go, that is a penance compared to what that service brought into our community. Whether dollars got shuffled around somewhere, that red 1910 number is irrelevant to me personally. The first thing that we all thought was this service needs to be significantly increased next year. The biggest thing that we noticed was duration. They ran for 6 weeks this year. We saw hikers in a steady flow as early as mid-February, all the way till May 30th. I think we had, there were the last week in May, any given day, we'd have 15, 20 hikers in the store. And I can't tell you how many of them, hey, do you guys have a number for Macon County Transit? Can they run me back up? Sorry, they stopped that program. They ran it, that's where it was at. So, the other thing, and this is something I would maybe just inquire you guys look into. We don't know there's another service in town, service provider, I will say, that brings hikers into town. I'm not at liberty to quote what the arrangements are, who pays for what and when and how and why, and who doesn't pay for what, who, and whatever. We have reason to believe that things may change next year. We don't know if it's going to be status quo next year as well. And regardless, on behalf of the Franklin ATC petition, we believe that the community is who should be stepping up, not an individual who, whether it be a private shuttle, a charter. We believe that our community should be stepping up to help get hikers into town. You all know the movie's coming out. The movie's out. The numbers that are being tossed around by ATC are somewhere in the 30% increase range. Of that 30% increase, we will probably see every bit of that 30%, and maybe 25% if you factor in a little bit of attrition before Franklin. How that'll affect the completion rate, I don't know. I don't know the completion rate will be 30% higher, but Franklin will definitely see an increase next year. There's no doubt about it. And anything we can be doing, we have competition. Like the town has competition. Hiawassee is a legitimate force to be reckoned with on the AT. A lot of hikers go to Hiawassee and don't come here. Or they don't go to Hiawassee and they come here. There's not a lot of hikers that go to both. And we want to try to make it as appealing as possible to make hikers want to come to Franklin. This is something that we think is going to be a tremendous asset to our community. And even if you talk about the total cost, if this was a free service to hikers, the expense to Macon County Transit for the proposed service is $13,700. They're assuming that they'll raise they'll acquire half of that in ridership fares. The deficit is going to be somewhere around $6,750, assuming ridership increases by 15%, which is completely speculative. So we are looking to raise $6,750 to supplement Macon County Transit for next spring, to bring hikers into town for 15 weeks, 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. And they will be, probably don't need to emphasize that they will be completely 100% unbiased on where they take hikers. They take hikers in Microtel, but they want to go to Budget, they want to go to Three Eagles, if they want to go to Kmart, Ingalls, wherever they get hikers into town. It's $3 to board the bus, and they take care of them, and they are amazing, unbiased ambassadors of the town of Franklin. So with that said, we have, this request shows that we're asking for $6,750. Being completely honest with you guys, I don't expect you guys to shell out a check for $6,750. If I can speak candidly, I believe TDC has a responsibility to this as well, and I'll be presenting to them on Thursday. But I think that if that gap can't be made up to help this initiative come together by next spring, a lot of people will be disappointed. I think maybe something that everybody would benefit from. Do you guys have any questions?
I have a question. First of all, this isn't something we're voting on tonight.
No,
Okay.
I'm not expecting you guys to vote. So, okay, with that said, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. The main reason why this is being talked about now, and you're going, okay, this is February of next year. The main reason this is being talked about now is Kim Angel I basically went to Kim and I said, Kim, I need you to give me a number based off this proposal that if I tell you I can get you this amount of cash, you will commit to this service. And this is what we came up with. The reason being is that all of the data books that go out to AT hikers require their updates by early November. So we're presenting to you guys now, hoping you'll vote in October, contributing something to this initiative. And between now and then, we can be coming up with all the other red dollars to where we can go to all the guidebooks, all the resources the AT hikers use in November when they need their updates, and say, Macon County Transit is offering this source, amend it and publish it. So that's the reason for the time frame right now.
Okay, and that was one of my questions. Now, Macon County Transit, I guess, Mike, I'm a little confused. How did they get approval? I mean, did they have to go before the county?
Okay, so it's my understanding, and Kim apologizes, she could not be here tonight. My understanding is Kim made an executive decision. Don't hold me to that. My understanding is Kim made an executive decision to,
Okay.
Bobby's nodding his head.
Made an
so you want-
executive decision that some of them support.
What's that?
She made an executive decision that some of them support, but
Yeah.
they can't override her decision.
They cannot? Okay. Okay, I was just wondering.
And my
is it
understanding is
county?
that there was, my understanding is that there was not a tremendous amount of backlash, but yes, this is a county program.
It's a county program.
Correct. And this is, this is one of those things that it's the way we look at like, it's I look at what the New York City subway system is as a resource to New York City tourists. That's a city program. Now, we don't happen to have city transportation. It's just the way we're set up geographically, systematically. It just so happens that our public transportation system is a county effort. But the reason that I'm coming to y'all is TDA was a significant beneficiary of what their program did. Like them Macon County Transit bringing hikers into the town of Franklin. A lot of hikers spend money in the town of Franklin, so y'all have something to gain out of this.
Okay.
That's why I'm here.
Do you know whether or not, is it something that would be put into Macon County's budget?
Budget's already set for this year, that would have to wait until the next budget, which doesn't go into effect until July next year, don't they run July to June?
One thing they could do is probably
So-
make an amendment of an appropriation within their existing budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is something that, in the next 6 to 8 weeks, myself and the rest of the Franklin ATC board will be exhausting all of our options and make sure the dollars come together to make this happen. But, again, I'm putting any weight on y'all. TDA is a significant
Beneficiary.
beneficiary.
I also sit on that committee, so I'm kind of here in support, obviously. But I believe the last time, actually when I resigned from the board, it was a meeting where we were going over the revenues, and Candy made a comment about how she was still seeing AT hikers at Franklin's
That
house.
way?
So
Yeah.
I think there's a certain amount of ROI on a buy-in from the TDA.
Yeah,
I just
that
had
makes sense.
4 of them at my place, not just this past weekend, but the weekend before. And they all came from my hometown, where I was born and raised. That was scary.
Nice, they're staying at a bed and breakfast.
It's awesome. It was awesome.
So the time period, February through the end of May?
Correct, February 15th to May 30th. And that is a very realistic, thick window of hiker traffic. Like I said, we had phone, we had inquiries on a daily basis. Because Macon County Transit was in this year's guidebook on a very ghosted level, wasn't, transportation services provided by Macon County Transit. There wasn't any real clear. The hikers knew, hey, I hear there's this county source that provides transportation. How can I call?
Something to add on to what Rob's saying. This is the only county program that we've ever heard of on the trail as a whole. So this is something that is simple and easy as it sounds. It's really cutting edge for a town or a destination on the AT to step up and be willing to help hikers come off the trail. So,
Differentiator.
yeah.
Okay.
And again, just being completely transparent with you guys, if the money can't be had, or if we come up short, the services will be reduced. So time will be chopped off, a route will be chopped out, or it will be private businesses contributing with the understanding this is a completely a blind donation. They have nothing to gain from it. There's no advertising. This is not a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours thing. We're doing this because we're investing in our community.
The fares will be the same next year?
Fares will be the same. And there's for some reason, one of the things we'd said, I mean, $3 $3 a board is really, really cheap. I told Kim, I said, if you get increases of $5 and hikers will jump all over it. But she said for some reason she cannot increase above $3. I don't know why, but that has been discussed in case you guys thought that was an option.
Any other questions for Rob? Anything else?
Good.
Good. Okay, we will vote on this next month.
Cool.
We'll hopefully see you back
Thank
then.
you very, very, very much.
Thanks. And we've got one more thing for you, so
Do
you
I
wanna
need-
go, yeah, go ahead, just, you want a break?
Oh, I don't care. I've been going all day. I had a 2 and a 3-year-old for 3 hours today. Y'all can't wear me on even when I need it.
Okay, we'll skip back up. We'll go ahead under old business. We have under 5A, board decision on Parker Meadows coupon book. And I believe that request was for, I'm assuming it was, I thought it was more than 2,000. That's-
2004 to
It's
$8,000
It's
total.
per quarter or per,
Any discussion or anyone wanna?
Well, based on their projected budget, we're contributing $8,000 to their net profit, so I would lean towards not doing that.
Okay, so we have a motion to deny the funding request. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, just side note, as your blog writer, you did put a welcome letter from the TDA in that publication for free of charge. That Summer and Candy and Career
It's
Marketing
not
got to look at, so that's.
It was good, thank you, Brittany,
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that was good.
That was the coupon, supposedly a coupon book, the government coupons as far as what we saw though, it's just that.
It's not a, how did I say that earlier?
Never mind.
Okay.
They seem like they're doing okay.
Fair enough. Okay. Next, board decision on naturalist event. I believe that was for $2,500. Any discussion, or would anyone like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, we'll get the ball rolling. If I can get you to sign right there and then your title. Okay, thank you.
I just wanna see them all run by my B and B, cause they will.
They may be wanting to stay before they get back to the finish line.
Good sign out.
Yeah.
Free
We'll come
beer.
pick up.
Rest stop.
With lodging.
That's good.
Station.
Sit you at a little booth with
They
water
are,
and.
they're gonna run right by my place. Oh, cool.
Okay, okay. Old business, 5C, board decision on vacation guide. Thank you very much. And I brought that, Candy had brought this up last, board meeting. I brought this for review. And I believe it was just for advertisement placing and the vacation guide. You guys wanna pass that around or?
Thank you all again.
Thank you
Thanks.
guys very, very much.
See ya.
Josh, your registration fees go up like 15% after.
I'll have to start working
You're
out
doing
again.
50K.
I couldn't run 50K in a year.
Me neither, let's do it.
Okay.
Any questions or discussion on this or motion?
Well, we have to make a motion, is that right?
That's it.
Oh, certainly. And I'll get you a copy of that request, Josh,
I'm
from
sorry,
earlier.
I was late.
Oh, that's okay.
I
You
know I
said,
had a volleyball game, so.
did she win?
Yeah,
Good.
should've won the 2 games, 1 and 3. I would've been earlier. Is there a price
And
on
that
this?
is just for the TDA
I
to,
wasn't really,
Oh, that's what it looks like, they got it, so.
not either.
they're selling ads for lodging, vacation guide and general.
Oh. Do we need a motion?
Please, ma'am.
Make a motion that we send it.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Okay, let's get back up to the number 3, the financial report. Couple things. One, I did not forget about the reserve. It's not in here, but our finance officer is working on that. She has split that account. But I do have some financial report for you guys. For the month of July, this is very impressive. The TDA collected $14,781.99. And then if you'll look, we have your budget expenses, what we've spent to date so far. We've spent to date $19,335.84. That Charlotte Chamber that you see, that was from last budget year, so that will be coming out. It's just kind of commingled right now, but you needed to see that that bill was paid in July. Okay, your total commitments, right now the only thing you have outstanding is the Smoky Mountain Center for the Performing Arts with $15,000. So the remaining balance with commitments is $78,864.16. And then what's really impressive, if you'll turn to the next page, your chart. If you look back as far as fiscal year 2010, starting until current, it is the best you've ever been. Mhm. It's very impressive. You ended up finishing fiscal year 2014-2015 out with $106,961.15. It's very good. Then the next page, I went ahead and we fixed you a corrected and updated budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. You can see your miscellaneous and your festivals at $30,000, what you spent your balance. Same thing with Pandora, TripAdvisor, Asheville Citizen Times, Facebook, Google AdWords, your audit and bond. Now your Allison Outdoor Electric Billboard, I know that that wasn't approved in this budget, this current budget cycle, but if you'll remember, that was a year commitment starting from January to December, so that funding is being paid out of what's left from last year's budget. But we wanted to show that since that is an expenditure occurring in this budget as well. Chamber of Commerce, Charlotte Chamber of Commerce, same thing, that's getting ready to wash out. So the total budget for 2015-2016 is $113,200. To date, you've spent $19,335.84, which leaves you with a remaining balance, and keep in mind that's not your commitment, but your remaining balance of $93,864.16.
Cool. I
If-
make a motion that we accept the financial report.
Second, all in favor? Okay, subcommittee reports, finance,
Before
oh,
you
sorry.
go on, I just want to thank you. This is easy to read. the way you-
With the red.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of, it just makes the,
Let's it pop.
it's easy on the eyes.
You're more than
Thank
welcome.
you.
Finance budget chair report, Connie. Nothing.
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Policy and rules of procedure, Vicki. Application review chair, do not have anything currently. So with that, moving on to number 7, items from the board. Anything from the board?
Do we wanna tell Josh what we did at the beginning of the?
No, we don't need to tell him. He wasn't
You'll
here.
read it in the minutes.
We had a speaker from Blue Ridge Outdoors. It's not supposed to leave the room, that Franklin did win the small town.
Oh, nice.
So,
Confidential.
he has come to the TDA and asked us to sponsor, is it like sponsor?
Co-op.
So, you weren't here, we had a vote on it tonight, and we, voted that we would spend up to $3,000 for the co-op pages that will go in the
Yeah.
It's
magazine.
$1,000 a page, 2 pages what we're going for in case they get,
Let's just read, how many magazines do they have?
50,000. And it'll be distributed through DC to Alabama.
And basically it lets businesses and towns do either a quarter page or a half page ad at half
At a
price.
And they'll go get the ads. We
And
just-
they do all the work.
And we did
Somebody
ask
said-
that they work with Premier Marketing for the TDA's logo.
Okay.
On it.
Just
Sounds good.
That's good. Anything else?
Yeah.
Good. Announcements, the next regular scheduled TDA meeting is Monday, October the 12th at 5:30 PM. And with that being said, may we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.
Do you need this?
Very good.
Yes, thank you very much. And can I have one of your copies?
Of the magazine?
The funding request.
Oh, that's,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm gonna make this.
Oh, the magazine.
Thanks, guys. Brittany, thank you for
This is a
everything.
seven-person board.
See you, Bob.
Hey.
No.
Where are we? 9? Is it
Seven.
supposed to be 9?
Seven.
I think there's 2 empty right
Yeah,
now.
we
He's
have
got
two
5.
empty seats.
Seven.
I think it's.
Oh, wait a minute, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Candy and, okay, so there's.
Well, there's
five,
six
yeah.
of us
Six of
right
us.
now.
Right.
Quorum is 5, right?
There's
Four
6.
makes them five.
Well, that's what I was asking.
Well, we have 2 empty seats, so it can't be 5. Well, there's 6 of us total.
There's 6 of
Uh-huh.
us. and there's
So
two
And
if
your rules
you've
of
got 2
procedure is
empty
5.
seats, you can't,
Right.
you can't, so.
So anything that happened before Josh came in didn't happen.
Yeah, there were 4 of us, 4 out of 6.
4 out of 6 is still a quorum.
is
That's
still
not what it
more.
says on the rules of procedure on your website.
So you have to have,
At least 5. But I asked that question.
you have to have it out
I thought
of
we
the
didn't
total
have to.
board, not how many people you have seated on the board.
So what we voted on.
Cause I looked and it says 5 members.
Aye.
Quorum.
So I was just gonna say that she could add me to that
Okay, you don't have a problem
as
with
an
that?
aside.
Okay.
And check with her, because I asked her that before we started, I had a feeling we
Because
didn't have
we've
enough,
got 2
but,
empty seats.
Josh is
we
okay.
don't but I think you're right.
And
it's
we
fine.
may
It's fine.
never.
I looked online.
That's the only thing we voted on.
Have to-
I might
have to
need
call
to
another
revise
meeting.
that.
I don't know if that's technically legal, however.
I don't think so.
You have to have another
Last
meeting
one is that.
Yeah.
and what, 48-hour notice? Or 4 days, I forget.
We can vote via email.
How's your daughter like?
Yes, we can.
She loves it.
Chamber does it.
Yeah.
When they need to.
We can vote tomorrow, it doesn't matter. I just didn't wanna there to be any confusion.
But.
At least I heard over here.
Hmm?
Yes, you
I
did.
just wondered if it rained.
Yeah, she loves middle school. She loves volleyball. She was in a tryout. And now she's starting, so.
Awesome.
That's good.
I'm gonna follow you on
Good.
the thing.
Well, sorry, guys. I wasn't here last month, but I was in Belgium. I sure was.
Wow.
I sure was enjoying all the Belgian beer I drank.
Talk about an excuse.
That's what it was.
We think
Yeah, but
that, we're pretty sure that we needed 5 to have a quorum.
Yeah, what do we do? We have 2 empty seats,
Well,
but.
we voted before he
What
was
we
here
voted
on the
before he was
first.
there.
But it's not on the
How do
actual.
we get around
I
that?
called John Jr., that's where I went upstairs earlier, and
Okay.
since we only have that many actual board members right now, you have enough with the
Okay.
4.
With 4.
That's
Okay,
fine.
Four
so
made
you did-
you, if we hadn't.
Yeah, you said yes, and I thought,
Yep, no, when I went
And then when
upstairs.
you went upstairs, Josh said, it's like,
Yeah, when I went upstairs, I was like, please Cheryl, and Josh is gonna be
I
late.
was in the middle of a sale and couldn't text you.
That's
okay,
fine.
so we're good.
And
You're good, she made it good.
Okay.
So,
I'm glad I was informed
Okay.
today.
thank you for that, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Okay,
is
guys,
make
can
a
I ask
motion
you,
to
can
do-
I ask
to
you?
to add him to the,
Yes, that's perfect.
and this is the second one.
You did good, thank you very much. Sorry.
So what do you think about the Naked Transit thing for next year?
I don't know.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. However, I don't think it should be.
Well,
Well, they're not looking at us
If we do TDC.
copying in all of it.
Well, that's actually technically what.
But he is, but he's he's not expecting it. He is also going to end up showing up at the TDC meeting.
Would you be
later.
okay?
And
with
you and
doing
I both
half
will
and
be
half
there.
for
No, I
TDC?
won't.
You won't
I'm
be there.
leaving
I
Thursday
think,
morning.
well, we have a lot less money than the
I'm going
TDC.
up
I think we
there
should
Go
do
see
TDC.
2,000.
I
They
have to
should
go
do
see one of
3,000.
Michael's
That leaves them
department.
1,750 short.
It was sweet.
They
I
have
like him.
a couple months to raise.
That sounds like a
So-
good deal, Josh.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
If we did 2,000, and the TDC, which has more funds, did 3,000,
If they go-
then they raised 1,750 from other businesses and other sources. I think that would be a fair allocation across
I
the
think
board.
that's what you should bring
I'll
to the
present
table.
at TDC. I'll present that Thursday.
And, I mean, I can't speak for the board, obviously, but I feel like that most people would be okay with that. I feel like TDC would probably be okay with that.
Yeah.
Them going out and raising some more funds.
Yeah.
And not totally leaving it up to us.
Right.
Yeah, but he even said tonight, he wasn't expecting us to come.
We're asking 6,750, we know you're not gonna.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to see the TDC on Thursday, so I'm gonna call Linda tomorrow and have a chat with her.
Oh, that'd be good, if you'll put
Since
that.
I'm not gonna be at the TDC meeting. I'll
Night,
have a chat with
Bert.
her